Alright, you see the title. Although Triple H isn't exactly my cup of tea,
just for further notice, one of you nuts is hanging out of your shorts. You got a big hole.
Kane has always been my boy. Over the years though, these two had some of the most egregious moments I've ever seen. But I was thinking to myself, you know, I've never watched the Monday Night Raw episode dedicated to Katie Vick. And, well, I did. And you know I had to make a video on it. Before we start, subscribe. I'm going to start dropping video essays and wrestling content more consistently. I want to step away from the retro syncs, and yes, shouts out to the Deadlock boys. They're obviously a huge inspiration on why I do this, but I want to do more with my channel, play some games with the homies, and definitely showcase more of my editing. Anyway, enough yapping. Let me give you guys this backstory. In 2002, before Kane took his mask off a year later,
Kane turns around, by God, he's on the Three Stooges, Kane!
My man is out here hitting spinneroonies. He's literally normal. And wait, what the fuck? The Hurricane and Kane are tag champs. Dog, I swear to God I don't remember this. So, on October 7th, 2002, the first ever TLC match on Raw takes place, with an 8-man tag match. Well, it was supposed to be. Beforehand, Kane gets an interview from Terry, and hey yo, is she glazing my boy right now?
Take it from me, I do mean the big red machine.
Kane the Rizzler for real. She asks him if he's going to be at a disadvantage going into the match, and he just talks. Bro just yaps. It's so funny seeing him go from someone making noises to a party boy now. He's happy. Legit hot boy summer. Coach comes through and tells Kane that Rick and Triple H are beating up the Hurricane. Kane is just an enforcer in 2002, like, yo, this shit is crazy. Triple H throws Hurricane into the wall, and I'm like, Jesus. Tell me why the big red machine rushes down the hall, pushes the ref checking on the Hurricane, and just starts fucking yelling at him. Like, my guy, what are you doing? On to the match though. D7, since Hurricane is bodied somewhere, have a pretty fire main event. As a TLC fan, this shit was pretty dope for what it was. I mean, at the time, everyone was just so over. Every single person in this crowd was on their feet. That's the one thing that sucks about today's fans. It's like no one is engaged sometimes. Kane ends up winning to a pretty big pop, and of course, oh shit, Triple H has to interrupt the celebration. He goes,
I promised you that before this night was over, your life would never be the same. You said this is the happiest you've ever been in your life, huh? Well, unfortunately, some people always can't be that happy.
And the crowd start chanting, asshole, asshole. H says, how happy was Katie Vick? That's right, I know Kane, I know it all. 10 years ago, you killed her. He literally says, you are a murderer, and it just goes off the air. Like, what? Now, fast forward a couple weeks. This thing opens with Triple H from the last show calling Kane a murderer in the intro. It's not even 1 minute into the show. Like, oh my god. It's classic 2000s editing, of course, and it's just bad from the rip. At first I was like confused, because obviously if you know the story, this thing morphs into something completely different. And according to H, Kane was out here having Diddy parties in hell. Triple H and Ric Flair pop out into the ring. H grabs the mic and says, I've got a message for all the boys in the back, for all the fans, for all the writers that said I did not deserve to be handed the World Heavyweight Championship. I've got one thing to say to you all. Screw you. I do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and there is not a damn thing anybody can do about it. Oh my god, what the fuck? And the reality of it is, Nate, is that in this world, I am untouchable. I mean, yeah, that sounds like him in the 2000s for real. He goes on and says, beating Kane last night was kind of like one more nail in Katie Vick's coffin. And you know, speaking of nailing, oh my god, I hope Kane hasn't gotten into a car accident and killed somebody. Bro, what is this promo? The crowd was literally half dead. And then, yo, you can't make this shit up. Ric Flair pulls a VHS tape out his inventory. Like, god, yo, you already know who wrote the storyline in 2002. So the Hurricane runs into the ring to help his friend, and he grabs the tape for some reason to, I guess, like, get rid of it, because it's going to damage his friend's life. And the crowd actually popped for this. And before the segment ends, you hear Lawler go,
Hey, having sex on video tonight? Show it, Triple H, show it!
God, bro, Jerry was so unhinged. Next, we get a one-on-one between everyone's favorite white boy and Jeff Hardy. And yo, I think this is where he really gets CTE from, honestly. Christopher Nowinski ends up taking the dub to a dirty win, and we cut backstage to Eric Bischoff, watching Big Show manhandle him before the GOAT enters the room, Stacy Keibler. And before we go any further, yes, I'm team Stacy over Trish respectfully. Like, yo, have you seen Stacy's finisher for real? Like, alright. Anyway, the former Duchess of Dudleyville wants to referee a match, and Eric just lets her pick whatever match she wants, as long as it's not the main event, and she just dips. Yeah, I guess one of the refs ain't getting paid tonight. Big Show enters the chat, and Eazy-E puts him in a 3-on-1 handicap match later tonight against Rico, Jamal, and Rosie. We move on to Tommy Dreamer in USA WWE shirt. God, bro, this is so ugly. Yo, like, he is out here dressed like a CAW, a generic ass CAW. And oh yeah, Al is here. Tommy tells him that they're gonna have a Singapore Kane match without the Sandman there, and the white boy spawns in out of nowhere. And I definitely think his CTE activated here because bro is just stuttering. Cut to the stage, and we get a #1 contenders match for the tag team belts. Lance and Regal walk out to the ring and says America is filled with crazed savages, and they're not the un-Americans, by the way. Bubba and Spike come out, and on commentary, they're saying Bubba still has a concussion? Excuse me? If anyone knows if this is a shoot or not, I'd love to know in the comments, so please tell me. They have an okay match, and the heels of course take out the baby faces after Bubba and Spike take the dub. I love this shit, to be honest, because they just stomp the fuck out of them, and William of course has the brass knuckles and just has Spike bleeding from the mouth. Like, what? We head backstage again to Trish getting ran down on by Chris Jericho and Christian. Christian says any woman that would crawl around on her knees and bark like a dog for Vince, and yo, they just start barking here. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, any chick like that wouldn't sleep her way to the top, would she? Yo, I don't know if I can make it through this whole show, I swear to God, Jesus Christ. Anyway, they both say they ain't no suckers. Chris tries shooting a shot with Trish, and it just doesn't work. Regular Day of Reckoning storyline shit, your boy Eazy-E comes out, threatens Big Show and Stephanie McMahon, and says the Brock and Taker match in Hell in a Cell was a spectacle, but it's going to pale in comparison to the match he has in mind. A match that can only come from the mind of Eric Bischoff. And then I realized what this was. Yo, I did not know this is where they announced the first ever Elimination Chamber. Like, it was literally on this show. What the hell is happening? We cut to Stacy in full ref gear, and JR says, "Holy zebras." Like, what, brother? What is going on, dog? And I thought I was tripping, cause peep this. The body has 650 muscles. The body has 650. Let's just move on. Singles match between D'Lo Brown with no entrance, Test and Stacy Keibler as the special guest referee. Man, they were just jobbing the fuck out of D'Lo here. It sucks. From the start, she makes it known she's gonna be a dirty ass ref here and takes full advantage of this shit. It's a shame because D'Lo is over as can be and they still decided to make him look like a clown. Jerry Lawler says, "Do you think Katie Vick was as hot as Stacy Keibler?" Okay, think about this for a second. In kayfabe, she's supposed to be real, and Jerry is asking how hot a dead girl is. Like, how the hell is this happening? How is this aired? JR says they didn't even have sex ed in school. Yo, 2002, man. D'Lo hits his leg drop, and Stacy does a slow count. And bro is like, what the hell is your problem? I love D'Lo, man. Yo, he was so awesome. Stacy gets distracted and has to tie her shoe, and she misses another count. Test hits a big boot. 1, 2, 3. Test gets the win. Victoria is talking to Terry backstage, and Booker and Goldust crash the set. Honestly, these two had some of the funniest segments ever. And for whatever reason, I shit you not, Booker says, "You can't spell Jericho without the ho." And I don't know why I thought the Godfather was popping out. He says, "I'm going to give Jericho a dose of vitamin T straight up his punk ass like a largemouth bass." What? Now can you dig that, sucker? The intergender tag match with Goldie, Booker, and Trish versus Victoria, Jericho, and Christian. And this match was great for real. I'm not gonna lie, I wish there were more intergender matches today, and now that Raw is on Netflix, I mean, who knows what will happen. This gets a 5-star on the 6 scale from your boy. I forgot how much Victoria and Trish could really work. It's a dope ass match, and if you haven't seen this, definitely go back and watch. But now, it's time for the tape segment. 2:30 a.m., Kane pops his head through the door and says, "Hey, it's me, Kane." No one answers. So he walks up to this casket, and oh my god, this is fucked. Triple H dressed up as Kane walks up to the casket and literally has a 4-minute, I think 5-minute segment of him touching on this Katie Vick mannequin corpse. And they're literally blurring stuff out. And again, you know whose idea this was in the company. Triple H takes his shit off, hops into the casket, and does his thing. And at the end, he's like, "I did it. Oh my god, I did it, Katie." And takes her brains out, like, and then it just ends. This was a real segment in 2002. Like, this is fucking crazy. I deadass would love to know who has writing credits on this. And there's still 35 minutes of this fucking show. Like, how wasn't that the end? I do have some notes though. So like, Bruce Pritchard said on his podcast that they were trying to make the WWE more into a soap opera. Like, okay, I can definitely see that, but apparently many people quit because they were offended from the angle. And I guess this was done in a real funeral home. During a wake, mind you. The segment was supposed to be satire, but like, there wasn't anything funny about this. Look, if you want to go watch the rest of this, I'm sure you can find a way to watch it for yourself, but that's where I gotta end it. What's cursed is at the end of the show, Kane says this.
Hey, Triple H, you hear me in there? Now, I'm gonna screw you. The only question is, will you still be alive? Or will I just wait until you're dead?
And drives away with the trunk open. Like, oh my god. This episode had some funny moments and also a historical announcement that just got washed away by this terrible storyline. This is just one of the many stains on the face of the biggest wrestling company in the world.